So here's the latest. University of Wisconsin moves a rock seen as a symbol of racism. Here we go. The University of Wisconsin removed a large boulder from its Madison campus on Friday at the request of minority students who viewed the rock as a symbol of racism. Chamberlain Rock on the top of Observatory Hill is named after Thomas Crowder Chamberlain, a geologist and former university president. Students of color on campus say the rock represents a history of discrimination. The boulder was referred to as a derogatory name for black people in a Wisconsin State Journal story in 1925. The derogatory term was commonly used in the 1920s to describe any large dark rock. University historians have not found any other time that the term was used. But they say they're bothered by it even though it was never used any other time. But they said the KKK was active on campus at the time, the Wisconsin State Journal reported. But, is this any rock, or does it have to be a specific size or shape? I don't even understand. University Chancellor Rebecca Blank approved the removing the rock in January, but the Wisconsin Historical Society needs to sign off because the boulder was located within 15 feet of a Native American burial site. The rock will be placed on university-owned land southeast of Madison near Lake Kegosana. Whatever. The university plans to erect a plaque in Chamberlain Hall to honor the former university president. Yeah. The boulder is a rare, large example of a pre-Cambrian era glacial erratic that experts say is over 2 billion years old, so it's actually kind of cool. And if the boulder is over 2 billion years old, that means it's been there before those racist things were said in the 1920s, making this whole thing fucking irrelevant. The Black Student Union led the call to remove the rock last summer. Crews began removing it just before 7 a.m. Friday, securing it with straps and lifting it with a crane before moving it to a flatbed truck. It costed $50,000 to remove the fucking thing. Unbelievable. If an SJW complains, they can do it. They get whatever they want, even if that thing costs $50,000 fucking dollars. What a joke. Now let's see these people here on the news talking about it.
Peter, you've got an absolute doozy for us. Off you go.
Well, yes, the University of Wisconsin is removing a boulder, a racist rock, which
A racist rock?
apparently is rock. Yeah, it's called Chamberlain Rock, and it's 42 tons, but it's been removed from the Madison campus because a couple of students said that the rock was a symbol of racism. Now, you might wonder, how can a rock be a symbol of racism? Well,
We wonder that about a lot of things. Remember my video called what is truly wrong with SJWs, where I explain what is actually wrong with them. Check it out if you want to see. But in the first 5 minutes of that video, I basically list everything that they're offended by. Keep in mind as well, I made this rant 3 years ago, and the list of things that they're offended by has probably doubled since then. But regardless, 5 minutes worth of things that offend them, some of which include things like red pen and shit like that. Yeah, we wonder why anything offends these people, but, we understand that these are not really human beings at all. SJWs are like an empty shell of an offended gelatin. There's no actual person.
a long time ago, I'm talking about the 1920s, a few people referred to the rock by a racial term. So now they're getting rid of the rock. I mean, that term wasn't widely used. It certainly hasn't been used in recent decades. But because there was that history in the 1920s, the rock has to be disappeared because, we've solved racism now. Well done.
I think you're right that's one of the great...
Unfucking believable, but not surprising. I mean, honestly, we have to keep talking about these idiots and the ridiculous things that they're offended by. I want to know what actually goes on in the kids' heads when they're in university, clearly not learning, but they're actually just being told you should be offended by this, and this, and you should also hate this, and this. If it has white skin, hate it. Because education now is just indoctrination. I made videos on this, check it out in a lot of detail, but to summarize again, education is no longer education. It's basically just telling kids a list of things to hate love or be offended by. That's all it is. They don't give a fuck about actually teaching kids anything. As we've said and proven multiple times, there's a reason why kids are actually finishing university dumber than when they started. This kind of shit is the reason why. I mean, what really happens to these kids, because they're clearly not getting an education, so instead they waste their time going outside and looking for things. They're looking for things to be offended by. Let's see what's going on outside in the world. I hope there's nothing offensive out here. Is that's a rock. That's offensive. Take out. Remove those rocks. I don't like seeing those rocks. They're offensive and they hurt me.